Travis Scott has said in the past that he doesn't feel guilty for what happened to Astroworld. But fans thought he should go to jail for encouraging people to do dangerous things. Even though many legal experts thought Travis could go to jail and face life in prison if he was found responsible for the deaths of the concertgoers, the jury just made the shocking decision not to charge Travis with a crime. But the people are angry with him and want him locked up. Travis is happy about what the judges decided. But many fans are angry that no one will be held accountable for the deaths of 10 young people. Almost 2 years ago, at a music event. This afternoon, a Texas grand jury met and decided not to bring any criminal charges against 6 people. Scott and a few other people who helped him plan his Astroworld event were on the probe. Travis Scott is finally coming out after being saved from prison, and he's clapping back at the people who want him to go to jail. Yeah, people said that they all heard people scream and call for help. Each time you stop the song to get your attention. Did any of those screams reach your ears? Nah, man. So, what did Travis say when he got out of trouble at Astroworld? Does he feel like he has any part to play in what happened? Let's take it apart. As artists, we know that we can trust professionals to make sure that things happen and that people leave safely. You know what I'm saying? After almost 2 years, the jury has finally decided who should be held guilty for the deaths of 10 young people at the Astroworld Festival. And their answer is no. For one, the jury's ruling didn't sit well with a lot of fans, especially those who were at Astroworld and the families of those who died. They still think that this terrible thing could have been stopped, and they want justice to be done. To give you some background, on November 5, 2021, 10 people died when the crowd at Travis Scott's show at the Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas, smashed into each other. And Ezra Blount, who was only 9 years old, was the youngest person who died. The moment the casket closes on Ezra Blount, a 9-year-old boy who died too soon but whose life brought all of you here, y'all, are brought together by your love for Ezra. The funeral for the youngest person who died in the Astroworld accident was held here at the beautiful Body of Christ Church. The other 9 people who died were all between 14 and 27 years old, and 300 other people were treated for injuries they got when the crowd surged. In the days after the tragedy, the FBI helped the local authorities start a probe. And on December 16, the top medical examiner said that all 10 of the people who died were killed by accidents. The youngest person who died at Travis Scott's Astroworld was only 9 years old, and the oldest was 27. All 10 of their deaths were found to be accidents by the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, which said that they all died of asphyxiation from being squished. But many Astroworld fans demanded that someone be held accountable because Travis kept playing for almost 40 minutes after the police said the show was a mass casualty event. Fans in the crowd were yelling at Travis to stop the show, and 2 teens climbed the scaffolding and begged the cameraman to do something. Don't do that. He was one of the fans at Ashton Royal who went up on the stage and asked them to stop the show because people were being crushed by the crowd. And tonight, Aiden Cruz, who is 18 years old, is going to tell us about how close he came to dying. We also found out that he was there with a friend who did not make it. While this was going on, Travis's girlfriend at the time, Kylie Jenner, was in the VIP booth. She kept posting about the concert on her Instagram, and one of them showed an ambulance in the crowd. And that's why people wanted someone to be punished for this terrible accident. But Travis's reps later said that Travis didn't know how bad the situation was and didn't find out that people had died until the next day. Then, in an interview with Charlemagne the God, Travis talked about the tragedy for the first time. He said that since the tragedy, he's been doing everything he can to be there for his fans. It really just wanted to be there and wish you could just hold everyone and talk to them. It hurts a lot. But many fans thought Travis wasn't being honest, and some of the families of the victims didn't want his help. Travis offered to pay for the funerals of the people who died, but more than half of the families turned him down. This means they probably thought he was partly to blame for what happened. The lawyer for the family of 14-year-old victim John Hilgert said Travis's offer to pay for services is insulting and wrong, while the lawyer for Axel Acosta's family said that Travis's offer was just a way to get more attention. Meanwhile, Franco Patino and Jacob Juranek's families criticized Travis for not getting in touch with them personally. One of the family's representatives said that both families got letters from Scott's lawyers instead of from Scott himself, which said a lot. Travis told Charlemagne in an interview that he was keeping a low profile after the tragedy because he was trying to figure out what happened. When you know that people are sad. You know, his fans who went to a show had experienced something. And I feel like I've always been that person who sees things through with the people who share the events with me. And, well, things just happen. And, it's been such a long time. And I've just been trying to really figure out what's going on. Travis kept saying this line over and over, trying to figure out what was going on. He never said, though, that he was in any way to blame for the tragedy. Travis said that he didn't know what was going on in the crowd or if the fans were screaming to stop the show until the show was over. Yeah, I didn't really understand what had happened until a few minutes before the press briefing. Even after the show, you just kind of hear things, but you don't know what they are. I didn't know exactly what was going on until, minutes before the press meeting. Travis also said that if he had seen anything, he would have stopped the show. But he contradicted himself when he said a few minutes later that he had stopped the show a few times. So it was clear that he knew something was wrong. It's crazy because I'm not that kind of artist who, when you hear something like that, you want to stop the show and make sure your fans get the attention they deserve, And whenever I saw something like that, I stopped a few times to make sure everyone was okay. But there's more. Later in the interview, Travis said that someone from Live Nation told him that the show should end after Drake leaves the stage. At that point, the police had already told Live Nation that the concert was a mass casualty event, but Travis claimed that no one had told him why they were stopping. So, sure. I mean, they just told me that we were going to end the show as soon as the guests left the stage, and that's what we did. Besides that, there was no other contact, right? So after... You mean when the people leave? What do you mean? Yes, when the person leaves. Okay, you can go, and we'll end the show. But there wasn't a message about why. That's just what I heard. But don't you think it's strange that Travis didn't ask why they were ending the show? When someone tries to stop Travis from performing, we've all seen him fight with security and go crazy. So it's hard to think that he never asked why they shut down the whole thing. Many of Travis's fans were upset after seeing his talk with Charlemagne, and they criticized him for not taking any responsibility. Travis Scott doesn't take any blame at all in this 51-minute interview, even though Charlemagne asks very easy questions that set Travis up to do so. One fan wrote on Twitter that Travis Scott's whole team should be ashamed. 10 people are dead. Not only are fans upset by Travis's words, but so are the families of those who died at Astroworld. The lawyer for the family of Barty, who was killed and was 22 years old. You could say that Travis's talk was an hour of classic gaslighting. A representative for Axel Acosta's family said that Travis won't take credit for what he did on his own, so they will make him do it in court in front of a jury. He tells people to jump over the fences as well. But that's fine. But how do you feel about the fact that Travis and Live Nation won't have to pay for Astroworld? Do you think this terrible thing could have been stopped? Leave a comment below so you don't miss the next story.